Okay, so it's still open to them coming here in your
Yeah,
eyes.
I mean, they asked if they could come, and we'll see if that happens. It's not that easy for them to come. They can't get out. You know, they're in Iran, and in one case, the guy wanted to come so badly, but he can't get out because there's bombs dropping all over the place.
Have you seen the Tucker Carlson?
So that's Trump claiming that Iranian leaders want to meet with Trump and continue negotiating. In response, an Iranian account, official government account, posted something pretty scary, saying no Iranian official has ever asked to grovel at the gates of the White House. The only thing more despicable than his lies is his cowardly threat to take out Iran's supreme leader. Iran does not negotiate under duress, shall not accept peace under duress, and certainly not with a has-been warmonger clinging to relevance. Iran shall respond to any threat with a counter-threat and to any action with reciprocal measures. So that's scary. Before talking further, welcome everybody to the morning broadcast. I hope you're doing absolutely wonderful. We're back from Colorado and we're tired. We just got back in, kind of, it feels. And but we're here for your sake. No, because of my undying love for you. That's the reason. So, you know, what's interesting is normally if a U.S. president were claiming something, and then Iranian leadership was claiming something else, I would say I stand with my president, right? And in a general sense, I stand with the United States beyond all else. But it is unfortunate when your president happens to also be a pathological liar, because it becomes a little bit harder to know who is telling the truth. Did Iranian leadership want to come to the White House or not? It does feel like something Trump would make up, though, to be frank with you. And then when Trump gets asked, all right, so what's the plan here? What are you going to do? What is the game plan? He says stuff like,
you don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that...
I saw someone respond to that clip saying, when she asks me if I'm having another drink.
You don't know that I'm going to even do it. You don't know. I may do it. I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that...
Yeah. I don't like when my president responds that way to, are we going to war with Iran? I don't know. We'll see. And then in another recent moment, he said something to the effect of, I like to not make a final decision until 1 second before I make it. All right. With war. Okay. All right. Media is saying that Iran warned U.S. intervention will lead to all-out war. That's kind of expected. Trump reportedly approved attack plans for Iran, but's holding off for now. The Journal report cited 3 people familiar with the deliberations and added Trump is hoping that threatening to join Israel's strikes on Iran, which continued for a 6th day, will compel Tehran to meet his demands. He acknowledged that a U.S. attack was under consideration, but said he still might decide against it 1 second before, depending on what happens there. So we're just kind of all sitting and waiting. Meanwhile, supporters of Trump's are saying stuff like, Leo says, I found it odd and sickening for individuals claiming to be Trump supporters to criticize him in public. Their need for attention is shameful. You know who you are. Hashtag God bless President Trump. Hashtag God bless America. The order of those hashtags tells you a lot. Hashtag God bless Trump first, and then God bless America. So Leo here is openly saying he finds it sickening if you're a Trump supporter to ever publicly criticize Trump. I say this a lot, but like, I want the best for you all, MAGA. And I do wince that I have to say that you have culty behavior. And I hate that people see you as in a cult. But then you have influencers saying, I find it sickening that anyone would criticize him in public. Criticisms of Trump are only to be kept in private and in your mind.
Give me a joke.
Yeah. Well said, Mark Wayne. All right, welcome again, everybody. If you're joining live or watching the recorded version, as always, if you click the join button on YouTube, then you can become a member. If you appreciate my almost dead body being weakened at Bernied onto this chair to do this morning broadcast, then the join button is there for you. I mean, it's there. You don't have to use it. It's there. But we have a good time. And then super chats I'll read as we go along. Moving on from Iran. Karen Reed. The verdict is in. This case has garnered a heck of a lot of attention. Let me just quickly give you, if you're not familiar, I honestly haven't, I've heard the name, but I haven't been keeping up with this case like a lot of other people where it's their thing. But let me just quickly thank Lucky Moose 2 for becoming a member by clicking the join button. That's awesome. So this story is out of Massachusetts. Karen Reed is a former Boston College professor. She was charged with second-degree murder, manslaughter, and leaving the scene of a fatal accident after being accused of killing her boyfriend, who is a Boston police officer, John O'Keefe. And so the prosecutors claimed in this case that Karen Reed, hit O'Keefe, her boyfriend, with her SUV while dropping him off at a party, left him injured in the snow outside the home of another Boston officer, and he died from blunt force trauma and hypothermia. So she's in an argument, this is the prosecutor's claim, hits her boyfriend with the car, drives away, he dies in the snow where he was found. The defense says that Reed was being framed in a police cover-up and argued that O'Keefe, the boyfriend, was beaten inside of the house and then dumped outside to stage an accident. And the defense pointed to conflicts of interest among investigators, alleged tampering with phone data and surveillance, destruction or mishandling of evidence. And then the key items that were points of contention in this case, and then we're getting to the outcome of it, and this garnered so much national attention. The taillight fragments found at the scene, prosecutors said that it was proof of collusion, or of collision, I should say, and defense said it was planted. So you can already see the true crime world got really into this story, and there was just a lot of press attention given to it. And then injuries inconsistent with being struck by a car, according to the defense's side and their experts. And then text from Reed like, I hit him, central to the prosecutor's case. And so there's these allegations of police corruption, and some people think she did it, some people think that she didn't, and the verdict was not guilty. Karen Reed was found not guilty of the most serious charges in her high-profile Massachusetts murder retrial Wednesday. In their fourth day of deliberations, jurors acquitted Reed of second-degree murder and manslaughter in the death of her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. She was convicted of driving under the influence of alcohol. So there's a lot more to this case, and the ins and outs of it are fascinating, but again, not my area of expertise. We don't do a bunch of true crime here, but the ultimate outcome was, of the main stuff, she was found not guilty. And I was kind of confused by this. Again, I'm coming in as someone who really learned about this story an hour ago when preparing it for the show. So I'm not the expert on it. I don't know all the little details and the nuggets and the intricacies and the aspects and the components and just all of those things. I don't know them. But one funny part was, why does she have so many supporters? Okay, maybe they believe she didn't do it. That's fine. But you'll see the camera sometimes cuts to her supporters and they're like crying, and there's this emotion, which again, I guess if you believe she didn't do it, then you would really want her to be acquitted. But so, I think there's at least enough doubt, where I'm not certain. They're certain she didn't?
Financially and more importantly, emotionally, for almost 4 years.
All those people cheering are her supporters. Like, who are these people? Of someone who either hit her boyfriend and he died, or didn't and just her boyfriend died, and that's tragic, or did but deserves not to be convicted because the police messed it up so badly. Because obviously, beyond a reasonable doubt, it's an important part of our system. But she's getting like a Taylor Swift welcome.
And the second thing I want to say is no one has fought harder for justice for John O'Keefe than I have. than I have and my team. Thank you.
So do you want to see it reopened? Karen,
All right, so lots of cheering, and then CBS Mornings reported on it.
We're going to take a deeper look now at the Karen Reed verdict. She was found, as you know, not guilty yesterday of second-degree murder and manslaughter in the death of her
They're throwing pink flowers. It's very exciting.
boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe. The highly anticipated decision follows a mistrial last year due to the deadlocked jury. This time, the jury deliberated for more than 20 hours before reaching its verdict. Here to talk about it is retired, and I'm saying that in finger quotes, CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman. Ricky, we are so glad you're back. We were joking about you. Nate said you went in your closet and said, "Where's my Michael Jordan, Tom Brady jersey?"
Right.
Out
of retirement.
Out of
Worst
retirement
ever. You came right back.
Well, I
this
said,
case is
I said
something.
before I left
Yes.
that this case was really
Yeah,
important to
that
me.
is true.
And I had covered it twice.
What do you make of this verdict and the reaction to it, too?
The verdict, I think, was predictable.
Ew.
This is a case that was riddled with reasonable doubt. And one of the things that people don't understand until they get in on a jury is what that means. I mean, if you think someone's guilty, if you guess they're guilty, you suspect they're guilty, but you don't have a conviction to a moral certainty, you must acquit. Doesn't mean a person is innocent, just means that the Commonwealth didn't prove its case beyond a reasonable doubt. And here,
But I thought the evidence showed that her car clearly had been damaged, that it hit something. That doesn't matter?
well, it depends on which expert you believe. Because you had Commonwealth experts who had one theory, and you had very good defense experts who had the opposite theory. And the defense experts said that that car, Karen Reed's car, never hit John O'Keefe. And so they cancel each other out as experts. And if that isn't doubt, I don't know what is. In addition to the experts canceling each other out, you had that horrendous situation of the leading investigator, Michael Proctor,
Yes.
who was with the state police, who was fired for his conduct in this case.
Sending out lewd messages.
I mean, despicable messages. And he was someone who also supervised one of the most sloppy police investigations of all time. They were collecting blood in Solo cups and putting it in a grocery bag.
man.
I saw in that crowd yesterday women who had earrings that were made of Solo cups.
Yes,
and these
I
are the
saw
women
that.
in
Yes.
pink who have supported her throughout. Her public
Yeah, okay, so let's just. It looks like, based on what that individual is saying, this verdict, at least legally, was the right verdict. Whether or not she did it, just the case wasn't built strong enough. And that's how our system works. So good. And I have no horse in this game. One observation is horse the word horse in this race? There we go. I don't have any stake in this game. Look, put this on the screen, Jadam. There's these are strangers of her. I love the idea of like, I didn't think I could get myself through college, but then Karen Reed was acquitted. I could do it. Like a feminism thing, like a identifying with the triumph of a woman, which, all right, it's a little strange in this case. I love the triumphing of women, but a little weird when it's just this. I find it a little strange. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. I probably am. I did not think I was going to lose that 50 pounds. And then Karen Reed won. And now I think I can do it. I did not think that I could go. You get the point. I just find that funny. I think we have this need, this incessant need for celebrities. And so now we're looking so desperately for celebrities and for idols that now we'll go to accused murderers, acquitted non-murderers, right? It's interesting. Very, very interesting. But good Good. Soma Toil for You upgraded their membership. Thank you so much. Liam became a member. Thank you. Neil Palacio became a member. I appreciate you all by clicking the join button on YouTube. Yeah, I just, can we stop though with everyone being celebritized? Like, again, look at the videos of these women. This is also, it became a woman thing, I guess. Huh? Why is it all women? I guess they just, that's funny. They just identify with her. They're like, if I wanted to kill somebody, my boyfriend, I would want to get away with it. Not that she did. I don't know. I'm saying I don't know. Don't think I'm saying I know. I'm saying I don't know. I know nothing about this, but I'm talking about it because I want to. I mean, did she kill him? Maybe she did. But you know how men are. You know how they are. He probably had really dirty feet. You know when they come in, they're like, baby, rub my feet. And they're dirty. They're icky. They're nasty. They're disgusting. I never asked him to rub my feet if they were that dirty. It's like, how do you have scabs on the bottom of your feet? What are you even doing out there? So did she do it? I don't know, but should she be? We should all have, it's like a mulligan. We should all have one boyfriend we can kill. One time. I just didn't think I was going to recover ever since my mom died. And then Karen Reed was acquitted, and I knew that I could do it. I didn't think I was going to beat cancer. And then Karen Reed was acquitted, and I knew I could do it. Karen Reed, acquitted. There it is. I'm sure any of the people who've kept up with every in and out of this story are going to be annoyed with me. Glamorous Frog, thank you so much for becoming a member. But there is that. So Trump posted this video of Fox News covering and kind of mocking Elon's drug test. So Elon posted a screenshot of his drug test that said, "Oh, I'm clear on everything," which I believed. I'm defending him on this. I think he is totally sober all the time, which is why he's so normal all the time.
I am become meme.
Yeah, I mean, normal people say stuff like that. Non-intoxicated people say that stuff. So I believe it. I'm with him. But apparently Trump and Fox News aren't.
Meanwhile, Elon Musk, John, has shared a drug test. The results on X, it's pretty incredible. He put this out on X. It's pretty transparent, and his commentary was completely clean. LOL. This is in response, of course, to the accusation that he's on drugs, including a New York Times headline from May that read, "On the campaign trail, Elon Musk juggled drugs and family drama." While John's giving us his answer to what exactly is going on here, I wouldn't mind giving a deep dive here on what drugs were on that drug test. I want to know exactly what came back negative.
Yeah, I'd like to see it too. I think it said they're focused on a couple, and I would be like, what about what you're seeing from me? Why did you guys focus on those? I mean, I can look back through my life. The eras when I was being drug tested weren't my proudest ones. I don't think anybody, if everybody looks back at their life, you're like, dude, when was I drug tested? You're like, oh, I wasn't in a great spot. I think everyone could say, but yeah, releasing it on your own social media platform, transparency-wise, is a little, I mean, I'm in downtown New York City. You can go get a drug test on every street corner because there's a medicinal shop next door. I feel like
it's what is happening? Am I just like delusional right now or delirious? See, I used the wrong word. I'm delirious.
A brain.
It's not working. What is he saying? John Crist. I think he's doing comedy. What am I hearing? I feel so disoriented right now. Wow. Okay, let's just focus. What is he saying?
Downtown New York City, you can go get a drug test on every street corner because there's a medicinal shop next door. I feel like
Oh, damn it! He's supposed to laugh. He left him hanging. Look at this. Because there's a, and he goes, John Christ.
I feel like Elon Musk.
Oh, wait, go back further. Let's see.
Transparency-wise is a little, I mean, I'm in downtown New York City. You can go get a drug test on every street corner because there's a medicinal shop next door. I feel like Elon Musk.
I hate that for him, but I just don't think these are connecting thoughts, which I don't need right now, John. I'm already having a difficult enough time. So just let's really get our thoughts together.
Whatever his drug showed, that's the least of our concerns with Elon. I think if it says nothing, I honestly look around and go, let's get this guy on something.
There we go. Yeah. Okay. That was a long build to that punchline. That was good though. I like that. That was yeah. So I just. No, why would you post? That doesn't do anything. Posting a screenshot of a test that you commissioned does nothing when you're as rich as Elon is. That's not really that compelling because we know. I don't doubt slightly. I know for certain that Elon's doing drugs. Sue me, Elon. Do it. Sue me. Because he is, but he might not be. But he definitely is. But technically, I don't know. But I guess to John's point, you could have a medicinal store right next to the drug shop. Right? Bless you, Jaden. To John's point, not that point, the different point. I think it's worse if he's not on any drugs. That's what we were talking about before. It just feels like, wait, so you're that wacky without drugs?
What a creep. What a drug.
Yeah, maybe drugs would help. I don't know. Glamorous Frog, I don't know if I read that already. Thank you for becoming a member. Cats Are People Too said, you're my idol, Luke. Aw, boys don't wear pink, lol. Well, yes, right. What? Wear pink. I remember growing up, people would always be, and my dad would always say, yeah, like I would wear, if I wore pink, because they were good. They were good parents. They were supportive, right? They would say, you're not a boy, you're a girl. Become trans. Be trans, Luke. That's what my parents would tell me. If I put a pink shirt on, they'd be like, oh, so you want to chop off your penis? Oh, okay. They said that. But luckily, I stumbled across Ben Shapiro when I was younger, and he said, no, you're not trans. And I thought, wow. No. My dad would say, a real man wears pink. That's what my dad would say. This part's not a joke. He actually said that. And it was cool. I was like, yeah, you're right. He was like, you know why? Because insecure men think, oh, I can't wear pink. But a confident man who knows his masculinity doesn't need colors to define it. And I was like, yes. I'm a real man. And then he went, no. Wow, guys, we were on a plane so recently, it hurts. I'm in pain. You know, just as a quick side note for everyone joining us now, we had a business trip that's very exciting, and I'm going to announce in like 2 weeks what it was about and what the thing is that we were working on. Very fun, very exciting. But we had to go out there and check on a manufacturing thing and then come back while doing the show. And you know when you almost wish you just hadn't gone to sleep because the going down and waking up process was so excruciating, you kind of just wish you had just powered through. That's where I'm at. I don't mean to complain. I just want you to know if you're thinking, Luke, something's off. Is Luke on drugs today? Is Luke on drugs? Did Elon give him the drugs Elon's not taking? No. This is an interesting ad about, well, you'll see.
I had a really good time today.
Yeah, me too. I really look.
What are you doing?
She's coming with us.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're rounding up illegals.
She was born here. She's a citizen.
I don't care. She looks like one of them. But don't worry. When she's in prison in El Salvador, she'll have lots of company.
So it says on screen, I'll say for our podcast listeners, quote, "The homegrowns are next," citing Donald Trump. Pretty spooky. I don't know how let's see. How do we feel about that ad? This part felt like a little bit of an improvisation. This part?
She'll have lots of company.
Like, she can smell your nose. Can we stop, please? It's a little close. And I think it makes it a little bit too, for how real the topic is, a little bit too caricatured. But you get the point. Trump has said he wants to send homegrowns to El Salvador. Next, if Democrats can't make effective messaging out of all of this, I don't even know what the heck to do. Speaking of Democrats, look at this. Democrats' money. They, after Ken Martin was caught nearly crying about the fact that he didn't really want to do the job anymore, now you have headlines like the DNC is in chaos and desperate for cash. And they're running out of money and thinking about taking out loans to fund stuff. How? Trump is so bad. Can you not fundraise off of that? I don't understand. Why is everything so bad sometimes?
I feel like I'm dying inside.
This will make you feel better. Quick pause from politics. This is an account called Non-Aesthetic Things. Viral media from around the world. And it says this is the best beatboxer in the world right now. So everything you're about to hear is allegedly being made out of his mouth. His mouth. And his esophagus. And his diaphragm. Okay? So you're not going to believe it. But I also haven't independently verified if this is real. But for the sake of interest, let's believe it's real. That this is a beatboxer, meaning there's no music being played.
Dopamine. Dopamine.
What? How do you do that? Wait. See, I can't do it as well. I'm kind of good. Pretty good. Not great, but in a few months I could be there. You know, that's a superpower. That is a superpower. That's not something normal people could do with their mouths. I'm confident. But let's say you're this guy. Why is it that God gave you that superpower? Like, imagine coming into this world and you talk to God and you're like, "Hey, what up?" And God's like, "I'm going to give you a superpower where you can do something no other human can do." And you go, "Oh my gosh. Am I going to get to fly? Am I going to have super strength? Other things?" And he goes, "Well, similar. You're going to be unbelievable at beatboxing." What's beatboxing? You'll be able to make sounds out of your mouth like it's not a mouth. What about, can I have the flying option? But that's really incredible. It's really incredible. Also incredible. The New York Post reported on this, that there's people are so sick. And if anyone in my audience is in this group of people, I'm not trying to make you feel bad. I just think you're psychotic. But before I get to that, 1 second, let me read some super chats. Oh my gosh, what is happening? The members, let's see. Wait, now I'm scrolling back to the wrong place. This is crazy. What are we looking at here? I think I got all turned around, everybody. Everyone hold. We're good. All is well. Okay, James said, I wear whatever color nail color I want. Yeah, we could have done a little bit better with the wording there, but I get your point. I wear whatever color nail color I want. But yes, you match. You wear whatever nail color you want. Awesome. Or you wear like clothes that match your nail color. Both. Hypnotiz Lobsters said KR Garden support because she was framed by corrupt police who murdered, raped, and victimized many en masse. Misogynistic and disappointing take, Luke. Me? Who, me? What? Misogynistic? All right, now we talk. When I'm looking at a murder story and thinking, what can I make funny about that? Because that's literally what I'm trying to do. And I see a bunch of people cheering. I go, oh, that's funny. Imagine if those ladies thought that Karen Reed's acquittal meant they can triumph things in their life. That's funny. That's a funny thing. That's why even when I caveat 10 times, still people get upset.
Legalize comedy.
Thank you. My caveat was, I don't know anything about this case. Okay? I do politics, not true crime. This is a bad day to get that message. No sleep and a lot of rage. All right, you know what? No, let me explain further. Okay, whatever. How's this supposed to be fun if I don't make any jokes? Unbelievable. Hypnotiz Lobsters. But thank you for the super chat. And I always appreciate the feedback. You know that. Let's see. Daniel Webb, thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate you. And Tony said, didn't expect you to go MAGA light on Karen Reed. All right. All right. It was a joke. I don't know anything about it. Other than she was accused of something, she got acquitted. Woo! Yay! I'm happy. I'm so happy. And okay, it sounds like there was corruption. So bad. I hate corruption. And it's funny to see entire flocks of people like it's a concert, but it's apparently it's because it's opposition to a corrupt police. Okay. Eesh. Unbelievable. Let's go with let's just explore that together, okay? Oh, what if she was framed? That's funny. Is that what you want? Is that what you want from me? Oh, here's some Karen Reed. Oh, sure. All right, so Karen Reed was found not guilty of most serious charges in accused. All right, so that's the story. Very serious situation there. All right. So now we're gonna move on, and the beatboxers. Okay, whatever. I don't want to make any comment about it. Discord of Sound said, Luke, you should get the guy from the Election Truth Alliance on your show. He's got some info that will make you go, Okay. All right. I don't know what that is, but okay. Moving on to vampires. Nothing that I say about vampires is meant to denigrate vampires. I don't want the vampire community getting upset at me. Wait, let me go back. Did this Karen Reed thing, I missed it. I was over-focused on Iran. I did everything right.
I did everything right and they indicted me.
I was out focused on Iran and China. And the big flagpoles in the White House. This is not my thing, okay? I just knew it was a big story, so I was thinking, maybe you want to be updated that she was acquitted if you are interested in that story. And then what's something funny? Big crowds of people cheering like it's Taylor Swift. That's funny to me. It's funny to me. I didn't realize this became some left-right thing. Probably, I guess it makes sense because if they're accusing the police officers of framing, then that usually typically conservatives are a little more sympathetic with that. The people are a little more sympathetic with Reed. But what if she hit him with his car or her car? But she was acquitted, so you know. Native naturalist said, "No jokes, political boy. Chop chop." Just kidding. Much love, Luke. Thank you. All right, gosh, just deflated my mood. This is. I'm gonna come for the next 3 days and just be only serious. The New York Post reports on people who act like vampires. And I'm not going to defend vampires, so just get ready, everybody. But in the last few decades, they've been forever fixed in pop culture as a romanticized symbol of finding identity in the world. Why? Why are vampires that to people? How about you get an identity that doesn't involve sucking people's blood out? This romanticism is at the heart of the complex history between real vampires and Sydney local Crystal, who does not wish to share her real name. On one hand, Crystal claims they've drugged her, drank her blood without... So here. Sydney local Crystal. Okay, so Crystal, you're being introduced to Crystal. Crystal's going to be the person we're talking about in this story, and her run-in with a vampire cult thing. So on one hand, Crystal claims they've drugged her, drank her blood without her consent, and forced her to drink the blood of others. On the other hand, she remains transfixed by their mythical morbidity. For Crystal, it all began when she was invited to an opulent mansion party in Sydney's affluent suburb of Vaucluse when she was just 18. Crystal, who was drawn to Gothic culture at the time, said the house belonged to the father of a friend who worked as a nurse. There she is. Inside the party, she claims to have found herself in imposing company. She was greeted by Yakuza and triads, otherwise known as the Japanese and Chinese mafias. They were just standing around wearing suits and watching anime movies, Crystal told the news, and they weren't shy about what they did. As it happened, the mafia is not the only bloodthirsty group these men belonged to. Crystal soon learned they were part of the Australian chapter of an international vampire court. And that's going to be a little cliffhanger. We'll come back to it. So she finds out these people are not only in the Yakuza and the Triad, but they're also in a vampire court. Conor McGregor's broken leg said, "Legalize comedy again. I get it, but we know where you stand, friend."
Legalize comedy.
I can't tell what that means. Victoria said, "I still love you, Luke." Oh gosh, Morgan.
I love you back.
Thank you so much for becoming a member, Morgan. I appreciate it. Lucy Moose said, "We love you, Luke. Keep being you. Thank you for bringing comedy to tough subjects." Liam said, "You should dress up like Luke Skywalker." Never heard that before. Wait, like from Star Wars? What if someone said, "Luke, I am your father"? I only say it that way because growing up, every person would say that to you if you have the name Luke, like it's the first time anyone ever said it to you. Hey, wait, check this out. "Luke, I am your father." Oh, wait, but it's because because my name is Luke, but like there's a Luke and Luke. All right, back. So Crystal finds out Yakuza, Triad, these people at this party, they're actually part of a vampire court in Australia. Inside, Crystal says she was given a glass of champagne. Soon after drinking it, she claims she sat on a couch and lost consciousness. When she woke up, she alleges she felt lightheaded, and her neck and arms were dotted by what she calls love bites. Looking back, she believes she'd been drugged. There were no other signs of a soul. "I didn't know what to think at the time," she says. Before she left, Crystal was given a dark diagnosis. They told me I'd been infected with the virus. She never reported her experience to the police. Indeed, real vampires would come back to haunt her before long. After moving into a Newcastle monastery to study business, Crystal met members of a local court. While things started safely, one night the group pressured her to drink from a bottle of red. It was human blood mixed with cordial. They said, "It's time to join us. You can't choose to join this society. They choose you." Crystal agreed. Crystal woke up with puncture wounds on her wrist. Crystal believes the vampires had fed on her while she slept. She kept quiet about the incident because the court had powerful people on their side. And now she wants to raise awareness about it. I want revenge for how they treated me. Despite this messy history, Crystal's experience with the court was forever imprinted on her self-image. She hopes to one day launch a safe space for people to appreciate vampire culture. Wait, what? Wait. This took a really weird turn. Despite this messy history, Crystal's experience with the court was forever imprinted onto her self-image. She hopes to one day launch a safe space for people to appreciate vampire culture. No. The vampire shit is what messed with you. Get rid of that. I don't like the whole, no, but like I appreciate vampire culture. I just don't want people eating me or like drinking my blood. Isn't that the vampire thing though? Like that's the whole thing. Otherwise, you just be a person who turns into a bat, but you don't actually turn into a bat. Or a person with sharp teeth. The whole thing that differentiates you, because you can't turn into a bat. That's vampires, right? So the only thing you can emulate is you could sharpen your teeth and drink out of other people. It's a really interesting way to word it. You can drink out of other people. Which is bad. And dangerous, too. And bad. So it's weird that she would say, this was so terrible, which it sounds like it was. That would be so disgusting and violating and being drugged and, while you're sleeping, people are, what did she say, feasting on her? But maybe we just maybe we just leave in the past the vampire stuff. And it's interesting because there's so much about this story that reminds you of the things people do and the things people need for an identity, which I get. For me, luckily, I got a pretty clear one in kind of this world where my passion for politics became a big part of my identity. But some people spend their whole life trying to find an identity they can really latch onto and they're proud of and they're aligned with, and that gives them a space and a place in the world. And so whether it be sometimes like racist white nationalist groups or like the Andrew Tate people or random hobbies, like random, Comic-Con type interests. So like something that's not harmful, or vampires. Like it goes all across the spectrum of interesting, reasonable hobbies to people finding identity through racist ideologies or misogynistic ideologies, which apparently I hold. Because my non-stance on Karen Reed, my joke, or vampires. Like it just, but I want you to explore who you are and what you want to be without drinking other people's blood, is where I kind of draw the line. Just stay away from that. Okay, I already thanked Morgan for becoming a member. Let's see. Snickerdoodle said cosplay. Oh, like vampire stuff is cosplay? Yeah, I don't know. I give up. I don't know. I'm sure if I keep railing against vampires, there's going to be some issue.
Alan says you are now pro-MAGA for being pro-vampire. So just wanted to inform you on that.
Wait, say it again?
Alan says you are pro-MAGA for being pro-vampire. Just thought you should.
Okay, well, I wasn't pro-vampire. I'm against vampires. I'm against vampires. No, but I mean, I guess if you're just dressing up and you're like, oh, this is hot, like that's one thing. But I've heard of speaking of true crime, I actually did listen to a podcast about a murder story that involved the vampire stuff, and it was another one of these sort of vampire cults, and people really believe that they're vampires. So yeah, if you're doing it as cosplaying, similar to like if you want to dress up as a dog, if that does it for you, okay, have fun. But if you, oh no, I'm gonna have the furries come for me next. I said have fun. I said go do it. But if you actually believe you're a dog, now we're going to have to sit down and talk. We're going to have a little talk. So similarly, if you just like dressing up as a vampire and not drinking but like just biting somebody, all right, as long as they're down for it. But if you think you're an actual vampire and you're drinking actual blood without people's consent, yeah. Christopher said, I'm taking a cruise in July, and that is the only reason I can't come to your live show in Texas, so please do a live show in New York City soon. I will absolutely, if our live show in Austin goes well. Liam said cosplay Luke Skywalker next live stream. Very nice. Very nice. Good job. Very good. No, thank you. So the live show, by the way, if you haven't got your tickets, lukebeatshow.com/live. It's going to be epic. Going to meet all of you and have a really good time. All right. Continuing forward, Crystal's disturbing account is not unlike a scene in a horror movie where vampires lunge from the shadows and maul victims' necks before sucking on the flowing wine-like liquid. It's important to note that vampiric crime is rare. That's so funny. It's important to note that vampiric crime is rare and abusers of power are far from unique to the courts. Like, don't overgeneralize the vampire community. The LGBTQIAV plus vampires. That's really funny. It's important to note, most vampires are not criminals. It's important to note, vampires have lower statistical... It's important to note that stats reveal vampires have a lower chance of committing crimes than non-vampiric counterparts. If you have such a problem with vampire crime, what about white man crime? Huh? For most members, this community offers a sense of belonging, and some courts are heavily involved with charity causes. Not all real vampires feed on blood, and for those who do, the practice is traditionally safe. What is happening? What is this article? Where is this going? Offers a sense of... All right. You know what? Whatever. Go be a vampire. I don't care. I'm going to get an email. Luke, I lost myself. Had no meaning. And then got into a vampire cult. How dare you question the community? Okay. Good. I'm happy. I actually am happy. For you. What's known as a donor will willingly offer their blood to a vampire. Both take medical tests and other precautions. Complications are rare, which is fine, but it begs another question. Why? Real vampires claim they feel sick and lethargic if they don't feed on human blood. It balances their energy. Is this real? All right, so do people really have a vampiric urge for blood? Clinical vampirism is an obsession with drinking blood. Yeah. I feel like that's just because we look at... Like, we have all these things that are shaped when you're really young. So you... Like, your sexual urges and your identity characteristics and the trauma you'll later deal with. So much of that shaped while we're young. So when you're young watching vampires, something could just click and you're like, I want blood. I don't know if you actually need it. It just sounds icky, but, you know, in this new world where boys can wear pink, who knows? Oh, gosh. All right, Kristi Noem, taken to the hospital.
Breaking news just into CNN. Sources say Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem this afternoon has been taken to the hospital. I want to go straight to CNN's Priscilla Alvarez. Priscilla, what are you learning about this?
Phil, we're still trying to gather details. What we know so far is that the Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was transported by ambulance on Tuesday to a hospital in Washington, D.C. One source telling our colleague Holmes Librand that she has been conscious at the hospital and has spoken to her security detail. We have also reached out to the Department of Homeland Security for any comment or additional details about what transpired here. So again, so far we know only that she was transported to a D.C. area hospital by ambulance. Today, we are still trying to learn more about her condition, though a source did say that she is conscious and she has spoken to her detail. Phil.
All right. Back to Karen Reed. Can I ask you a question? Because it's just spinning around in my head. Let's say I actually kept up with the case and I had a stance on it. And I didn't include 78 caveats that I was just, I don't know, just explaining preliminarily what I understood. Let's imagine I thought she did it, okay? And that was my stance. And so then I thought it was crazy people, which I don't know, but I'm saying, well, let's imagine I thought this was the wrong decision, okay? And I just had a different opinion. What would be, I would get you being upset if you thought she was innocent. That makes total sense, right? What would you, and I'll note that I said it looks like the correct legal outcome was that, but what would be the misogynistic part of it? That's my question, that little part. What's the misogyny? That's on my part. I'm confused. If whoever sent that super chat could write that in. I'm learning. I am only a sinner, as I was told a lot. The Daily Beast reports, Ice Barbie visited by... See, that's misogynistic. Oh my gosh, this morning show's for the history books, ladies and gentlemen. Ice Barbie visited Biohazard lab with RFK Jr. before hospitalization. So I don't like using Ice Barbie because, especially when she's in the hospital, I think she just got released, but it seems insensitive. But they're using that word. The Daily Beast is using that word. Kristi Noem was hospitalized for an allergic reaction one day after Robert F. Kennedy Jr. shared a photo of them both visiting a biosafety lab that was temporarily shut down due to safety concerns. They were inspecting the biological hazard labs at Fort Detrick. And you can see this photo. That's a nightmare rotation right there. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Rand Paul, and Kristi Noem. All I'm going to say is you put Kristi Noem and Bobby together, look out animals, okay? Bobby eats bear carcasses, apparently. Kristi shoots dogs. That's a crazy combo. But yeah, apparently this facility that does biological research on diseases and viruses and stuff, it must have just been the fact that she was released and we didn't get any more information about this. It must have just been a coincidence, but that is crazy to go to the hospital the day after you go to such a biohazard lab. I feel like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. would unironically go into one of those and ask them to expose him to stuff. You know what I mean? Like, oh, is that a bioweapon? Oh, is it? All right, so like in this, if this air gets out, then it would give you a lethal disease. Is that if you just smell it like this? Oh yeah, I feel like does Bobby give you the vibes of someone who gets high on viruses? Bobby gives me the vibe of someone who would use a bioweapon as a high. Like, he would get COVID because it makes him feel good. You know? All right. Cowpoke Ranch said vampires are very real. They were extremely prevalent in Bleeding, Kansas pre-Civil War, mostly Scottish immigrants fleeing King Charles II. And the Malleus Maleficarum, their church is still there. Stoll Cemetery. Okay. Thank you. Jenny Walls Robb became a member by clicking the join button. I appreciate you so very much. Carol says Cricket's Revenge. Hey. I don't endorse that. Winning Loser said, I identify as a lamp because I realized that I'm very easily turned on and easily turned off. That's actually kind of good. That's actually kind of good. Okay. All right, fine. Winning loser. I'll give that to you. That's good. I appreciate that. Apparently, Trump was really aggravated with how his parade went. Let's check in on Michael Wolff explaining this.
But obviously, this weekend, it was the birthday parade, and I am unbelievably curious to find out what you thought of it, and then, as importantly, what the man whose birthday parade it was thought of it too, none other than our own president, Donald Trump. What are you hearing? What are people saying?
You know, it's really important to understand when we think about Donald Trump, how much time he spends complaining. I mean, nothing makes the man happy. And spending $45 million on a birthday celebration appears not to have made him happy either. He's kind of pissed off. I mean, he's pissed off at the soldiers. I mean, he's accusing them of hamming it up. But you know, and by that he seems to mean that they were having a good time, that they were waving, that they were enjoying themselves and showing a convivial face rather than a military face.
Interesting.
And he kind of reamed out Hegseth for this. Apparently there was a phone call and he said to Hegseth, you know, the tone was all wrong. Why was the tone wrong?
Yeah, Trump really wanted clearly the North Korea style, like, miles of soldiers you can see, not miles, but long stretches of soldiers, and they're all marching really aggressively. And this was a little bit more fun, a fun parade, like a celebratory parade. He wanted like an intense, intimidating parade. Thank you so much, Jimbo, for becoming a member. All right. That's all I have in me. I'm not mad. Just disappointed. Goodbye.